Phil Foden played in a deeper midfield role. He was man of the match, received a lot of praises in this morning's papers as well, all across social media, for what a brilliant performance that was. He missed out on the best part of the summer, but is fit again and tormented Andorra in the win. Quite incredible, really. I've just been reading up a lot about Phil Foden, people's thoughts about him at the weekend. Chris Sutton's written a piece in the Daily Mail, and he says Phil Foden is the new Paul Gascoigne. The versatile star must be played centrally after his display in Andorra. He's 3 seconds ahead of the rest, just like Gaza. Goes on really just to detail what a brilliant performance he had, the assist for Saka as well. Just says, look, he's so graceful, he glides, effortless, natural, makes everything look so easy. You can't really argue with that, can you, Gabs?
Not at all. I just love the way, like Chris Sutton said there, he's a step ahead of everyone else, gets the ball. And what I loved about his performance against Andorra was his passing. He was picking out balls like you'd expect to see from Kevin De Bruyne. Versatile. You see him against Liverpool, left midfield. He can play as a false number 9 and number 10 on the right. And he looks like he'll play where he's told to play, not sulk because he wants to play in his preferred position.
Yeah.
So I love him, and I think he's the future of England. And he needs to play every game now. Tomorrow night, play him, find a position for him and keep him in that team.
Ali, 21 years old, how good could he get?
Oh, yeah, he could be anything. He really could. I said, Gabby, but it's funny because, it seems like, I remember 18 months ago, I remember talking to Big Al about it, and we're thinking, he might have to leave Manchester City, just to get some game time, go somewhere on loan. And boy, how wrong were we? The whole thing looks like a complete and utter master plan. That he was sitting there, he was going in every morning learning from David Silva, De Bruyne, Company, all these guys. And his education's been absolutely first class under Guardiola. And it's just coming to fruition right now. I look at some of the talent, Gab, that England have got. Dear me, Grealish, Foden, Mount, in the middle of the park, Rice and boys like that. It's amazing. It's certainly a great time for Gareth, and he's got just a wonderful. That was effectively another team that he played against Andorra, which he could afford to do, But in terms of what Foden could be, he could be anything for me.
What about Tammy Abraham?
Delighted, man. Yeah. Brilliant interview after it as well. Did you see the interview after it, guys? No?
Yeah.
Oh, magic, wasn't it? He just seems a proper lad, Tammy, and it was obviously a blow for him having to leave Chelsea because he was doing all right there, scoring goals, but sometimes your face doesn't fit, particularly with a new manager, and he had to make a really, really tough decision. And in making the tough decision, he took a really tough option. That was leave the country and go to a new country. And he started really, really well. And he's scoring goals. And I'm just delighted for him. I really am. Really pleased for him because he looks a proper lad.
How hard can those decisions be? Obviously, sometimes it's out of your hands, Gabby, and you have to do what, if you want to play football, you have to go somewhere else and make those moves. But to go abroad can sometimes feel like a bit of a daunting prospect, but he's
100%.
really made the most of it, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's changed a lot now, hasn't it? Especially since Sancho did it. A lot more players are doing it. I don't think it would be something that I would have done. I would have been like, what, I'm not leaving Birmingham. I'm not leaving home. Yeah. But fair play to him. He wasn't getting a chance at Chelsea, and he's probably thought to himself, Ali, the World Cup's coming. I need to play football. Yep. Mourinho probably said to him, you're going to be my main man. You're going to get games, and I'll get you back in that England squad. And that's what he's doing. And it hots up that race, isn't it, for that striker role, isn't it? Harry Kane's not been in great form, but when he's fit, he's going to start. But then you've got Bamford, who's out injured. Watkins is in there. Danny Ings is lurking. You've got Calvert Lewin out injured. So it's going to be a lot of strikers now fighting to be on that plane for the World Cup.
When you go back to Foden, just what we were speaking about him earlier on about how good he could be, is he the kind of person really that you look at him and you just think, because we waited for that development, didn't we? And he was protected by Pep, and Pep kind of like eased him into things. But still, when you say eased him into things, still put him in for cup finals, still played him in important games, hasn't let him down yet. You look at him and think for the future, a Ballon d'Or winner potentially.
It could be, yeah. Ali says there about Foden. For me, him and Grealish are the stars. They're the stars of England's future. They both need to be in England's team together. When you see them play at Man City together, they pop the ball off each other. Both great technical players. So for me, he's that future England star, and he's the star of now as well, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. There was a 41-year-old on the pitch as well at the weekend. Ildefons Lima, so he pulled a hamstring while he was trying to catch Jadon Sancho. And we were talking to Ali about this earlier on, about the moment when you kind of know that your career might just be winding down a little bit. Was there a moment like that for you, Gabs?
Every week in my last year. No, I think you look at his age there, 41, and he's chasing Sancho. I think anyone would pull a hamstring at that age. But no, not really, no. I think it was more my body started to let me down. You know, niggling injuries, Ali. Like after training, I felt like I played a game. Yeah. You know, like you felt like I needed a recovery after training, and it's not even a game. So like my body started to let me down in my last year, but to play to 41, fair play to him.
Did you get to the point where you started seeing these players coming through the academy, these young players that were kids? And then
Don't get me started. Honestly, they'd come and train with the first team, and I was like, oh my God, how can they run so much? Honestly, Ali, we do the runs and stuff, and like, they're flying, mate. I'm like, what have they got in there? Like, what sort of hearts have they got? Flying around in the runs. You do keep ball sessions, they're flying, mate. And I'm like, wow, all right, it's time to it's time to go.
Enough. I know.
Just had a message from Andrew Redshaw, and he says, what a load of rubbish, they were playing Andorra. You can only play the team that's in front of you, and it doesn't necessarily make you a better player, does it, Gabby?
That's what I seen on Twitter. You know, Sancho was outstanding, wasn't he? And everyone's like, oh, it's only Andorra, but you still got to go and do it against them. Do you know what I mean? Like, fair play to Sancho.
Grealish's first goal as well counts.
Exactly, yeah. People say, oh, it's against Andorra, but it's still a game that you have to go there and win.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday morning 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.